What is going on, YouTube? ModzvilleUSA, back from the dead again. I have risen on the 20th day, or whatever it happens to be. Today, we've got a different video. This is how to RGH2 a Zephyr Xbox 360. There's not very much information about this on YouTube. The only YouTube video I've seen on the matter is by Sharky Customs. Shout out to him for actually making a video. That is how I learned this. I just want to put together a bit of a cleaner video that is a live stream. I will cut this together for, make it a little bit cleaner for the rest of you. So first thing, let's talk about what you need. You're going to need your JR programmer, NandX, whatever it is you use to read and write the NAND. You're also going to need an ACE version 3. I will leave a link to this guy down in the description. So now I'm using a webcam to record this. It doesn't have the best focusing ability. So unfortunately, some of this might be, not so great as far as being able to see it. But I'm also, in post, I'm going to go back, take some pictures of all the points needed, and have them up in a corner somewhere. Boom, boom, boom. So you can see exactly what it is that I am doing. That being said, let's get started. Oh, one more thing to run by too. Well, you're going to need these guys. You're also going to need the software down in the description. There's some extra things. AutoGG is something you are going to need, as well as the timing files for the ACE. It's very specific for the Zephyr. There's one that I use with very good results. There's not quite RGH 1.2 boot times, but it's consistent boot times, and you'll get some insta boots here and there. Very good for a Zephyr, and it works on all of them. I haven't had one that is deciding not to boot yet, which is awesome. Zephyrs are typically very, very unreliable and difficult to get running, and not anymore, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, to start, let's get this wired up. God damn it, I keep forgetting. There's one more thing. I would recommend getting your hands on some Goo Gone if this Zephyr that you are working on has never been worked on before. When you remove the heat sinks, which you really should do, these things like to overheat. You really want to put some thermal paste, especially if this thing has never died on you, which would be surprising. These things notoriously break down quite a bit, but pull the heat sinks off, get your Goo Gone, get a Q-tip, clean this shit off, clean it off on the heat sink, and replace it. Also, if you do have one of these guys, one of the better heat sinks for the CPU, I'd recommend using that instead of the stock Zephyr heatsink. Okay, well, let's get into it. I am going to wire up my NAND. Let me open JRunner. JRunner. Hey guys, Modzville Editing USA here. So my audio cut out for the whole duration of me wiring up the JR programmer. So we're just going to do a speed up here throughout the duration of me wiring up the JR programmer / dumping the two NANDs. It's all very basic stuff if you've ever modded a fat Xbox 360 in any way. The only thing worth noting, wired up, just use the diagram. Go ahead and pause if you need to, and all you got to do is plug in your Xbox 360, make sure it has power, don't turn it on, plug in a USB cable for your JR programmer, NandX, whatever, and hit read NAND. Make sure the NANDs are the same before progressing. That's about it. Alright guys, now that we have our nands red, we are going to do something a little bit different. So this is defaulting to glitch. We're going to go to glitch 2. Now, what we want to do is instead of creating an ECC, we go load source. We go down to common ECC, and then we are going to do a falcon.ecc. Very important. It does not boot on a Zephyr ECC. Don't ask me why. It's just how it goes. And we're just going to go ahead and choose Falcon here. We want JRunner to think that this is a Falcon. Beautiful. All right. Well, now it's time to set up our ace. Boom, back to the cam. So we got our ace here. And forgot to mention, you're going to want some tweezers. So what we are going to be doing, see if I can hold this steady. Come on, focus. This second rectangular capacitor, we're going to remove, the one that my finger's touching. So we got the chip here. We got this rectangular doodad here. This one, we're going to get rid of that. So in order to do that, I like to add solder to both sides and then use some tweezers to hold on to it and heat up each side individually and pull it right off. Now, I must find my tweezers. Got him. Okay. Alright, got some solder on this guy. Got some solder here. Now let me know in the comments if you have any experience with cameras and what would be good for this kind of work, because I'm aware this video can be a lot better. I just don't have anything really capable of focusing on a motherboard at the moment. So what I like to do is like hold the chip up by the piece we are removing and heat the sides. Let's go back and forth. And there she goes. She's off. Now let's show a close-up of what this looks like. Let me put this soldering iron down. Alright, see that it's gone? Now, where it was, there's a pad below it. We are going to bridge those points together. Will you focus, please? I will show you what it looks like. Alright, see that? Went ahead and bridged that, and we are going to solder one of the long wires that came with the Ace to that point. Now, I don't have my Ace wires, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some of my own wire to do that. Very good, very good. Beautiful. Okay. Now with the pads, aim those up towards the top. And I like to just center it directly on these capacitors here. There's these lines. You don't want to not be able to put your heatsink back on, as that will interfere with the chip. But there are these white lines that will guide you. That shows you where the edge of the heatsink will be. So this is pretty good right here. Now this wire that we added to the capacitor, that goes right here. See that? See this little capacitor here? It's going to go to the right side of it. So we're going to add that solder now. And that capacitor is C3C6. Okay. So I'm going to trim my wire right here. Beautiful. Let's get it out of the way. That's pretty good. Okay. Now for ground, 5-volt E and F. Installing those is essentially identical to Corona. So if you look up a Corona schematic, which is the standard schematic for one of these, it will be identical. However, I'll post a picture of the proper schematic up in the corner, so you're not going to be able to see what it is I'm doing too well. But I'm tinning 5-volt. Tinning the ground. It's going to be a bitch on this iron. E is directly above ground. Right? Let's see. 5-volt, ground, E, F, yes. That is correct. Okay. So 5 volts we shall do first. Got it. Ground. That's good. Then F is on the same row as 5 volts. The row further away from me. Got it. And then E, the row closer to me. That's pretty good. Okay, now C and D. I'm gonna get the proper yellow and blue colors because I don't fuck around. Now you probably notice I cut these wires way too long. That's totally fine. It's better to make them too long and then cut them down than not have long enough. So C, we're going to put this through this hole right here. Just to the right of the heatsink hole here. It's getting a little stuck. And that's pretty good. We're going to tape that down in a moment. And D, I like to run like this, just over the chip, and it goes through this hole here. Get a bit more slack there. Very nice. Okay. Now, we're going to want to tape these down. A little less slack. That's pretty good. Okay. Now grab some electrical tape, scotch tape, whatever. I do not recommend using hot glue. A lot of people love going fucking apeshit with hot glue. I think it looks very, very tacky. Electrical tape will keep your wires in place. And some may argue, electrical tape might look tackier. That's fine. But leaves you room to go back and fix something if you made a mistake. C, I like to run on the outside of the heat sink like that. Right. Do that a little bit better. Beautiful. Okay, now let's clean up these wires. You can tuck them underneath the corner of the chip here. I would just recommend doing this for your power, your ground, and E and F. Get those tweezers. Give them a nice little tuck. Give them a nice little tuck. Keep them out of the way. Make it nice and clean. It's good enough. Okay, now on the back side of the board, these are going to be going to very familiar points. If you've ever RGH'd 2'd or RGH 1.2'd a console. So this is going to the RGH 2 point for post. FT6U1. I like to get it pretty exact here. Boom. Beautiful, beautiful. And this guy, CPU reset, is going to the CPU reset from an RGH 1.2 install. Now there's a series of 2 pads. Just go ahead and tin them up as you do. And try to keep it pretty exact. You don't want excess wires. It might cause issues where the console won't boot if your wires are too long. Just try to get it nice and clean. It looks better anyway. Now you can go ahead and use Flux here if you want. I'm going to use a tad. CPU reset. That's a good connection right there. That looks beautiful. Okay, we'll take some alcohol, clean up that flux. And while we're in here, we're going to do some taping. Alright, and with the blue wire, what I like to do is feed it through these little capacitor solder pads. Keeps it nice and straight. And any excess we just kind of loop around here in that corner. Had good results doing this. Nope. Okay. Now she is all wired up. What you're going to want to do is put your heatsink back on. And we need to program the ACE. Now I'm going to take a quick moment to take pictures of all these points for the tutorial. Do a little, hopefully I remember to cut this out, but if not, you get a little behind the scenes here. Alright guys, so we're almost ready to fire this up. However, we're going to need to program this. Now unlike other mod chips, with this hooked up to, with this capacitor removed, we need to plug it in, plug the power in order for our chip to be detected. And in order to hook this up, what I do is have a little 8-pin connector that I plug into this guy, put it in these pins, tilt it a little bit so it makes the connection. Alright, so here's what I'm talking about. Got my little pin header here, and the long ends go into the chip like this. And you can get these pin headers a lot of different places. This is from an original Xbox mod chip kit that I'm using. This one, Weekend Modder sells them. Yeah, you can get them all over. Now, luckily, my adhesive's a bit loose. I put that a little too close to the capacitor for my liking. So we're going to hook this up. We're going to need to put pressure on it so it makes a connection. We're also going to need the power supply plugged in. Okay. Very nice. It's plugged in. So here we are in JRunner. We're going to go advanced. We're going to go XS VF, the little dots here to load it up. Now we're going to be using those files you got. I've got mine here, and I really like the 150E2L. It's going to be the second one. This is the one I use on every Zephyr that I get. Now I forgot to plug my programmer in. That's going to be a setback there. Alright. She's plugged in. Make sure we got the pressure. Got the pressure. Not detected. Okay. Pressure this way. And here she goes. So if you haven't written to your ACE yet, it will tell you that you're going to be overwriting some factory settings. Just go ahead and say yes, those are the stock Corona settings. Now it's time to fire it up. However, I've got to piss, so I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I messed up and soldered posts to the RGH 1.2 point instead of the RGH 2 point, which I should have soldered it to. My bad. You already know this because I will have edited that part out. So here we go. It's all wired up. Everything's ready to go. So we're going to try to boot to Zell. There it goes. It's pulsing. Second try. Third try. Oh, that's gonna boot, I think. There it is. Bada boom. Didn't take too long. Yeah, my bad for derping out on that. So here we go. We got our IP 200. Cool. Alright, so here in JRunner, .200, get CPU key. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright, and it's still on the ECC, so we're going to go load source, desktop, JRunner, output, nand dump 1, get CPU key again. There she is. Okay. Now we're going to set this to glitch 2. And we are going to create an XC build image. However, we are not going to be using that one. We just want to put this in the appropriate folder. So we're going to get that going. Ta-da. Set the folder 3115. JRunner. 3115, only got one of those. We're going to load back up nand dump 1, and we are going to go into SMC config, edit config. Since this is a Zephyr, I'm going to bump our fans up. Beautiful, beautiful. Show working folder, nand dump 1 edited. We're going to copy this. That's the one we're going to be working with here. Now, we're going to open up AutoGG. We are going to open up AutoGG. First, we're going to paste nand dump 1 edited here in the root of AutoGG. Cool, that's what we're going to be working with. I'm going to go open folder, AutoGG, nand dump 1 edited. That is our nand dump. Okay, it doesn't know what our CPU key is, so we're going to go back to JRunner, copy our CPU key, go back to AutoGG, paste our CPU key. Beautiful. Model. It has no idea what it is, so we're going to change that to Falcon. Very important. We know this is a Zephyr, but it needs to be Falcon. Now over here in RGH Jtag type, we've got it set to RGH1 because my dash was low. However, we need to change that to RGH2. For dash, make sure it's on the latest dash. Update nand x xe build. And I believe that's it. So we're going to go create. Okay. Now in our AutoGG folder, we're going to go to output NAND flash. That is our NAND. Now what we're going to do is find a flash drive. We could flash it with the programmer. We're just going to flash it in Zelda. The old-fashioned way, you know? Alright, copy this USB drive. There she is. I'm gonna paste this. Nand flash.bin. And we're gonna rename that to UPD flash.bin. That is what Zell is going to be looking for. Update flash. Okay. Now, plug the flash drive back in. Boot her up. I'm going to unplug my Ethernet port just so we don't forget and load into our console and get this KV banned, because that would suck. Okay. And there we go. We got an insta boot on that one. Pretty good. All right, we're gonna let it do its thing and see what happens. All right, image written. Let's turn her off. Blowing some hot air. Now the glitch cycles are going to be a little bit different once you got the actual NAND written. Here it goes. I can tell that the loud fan. Oh, we got that going for us. Long pulse. There it goes. It's gonna boot. Look at that. That's how you RGH2 a Zephyr, my friends. Now, let's try it again. Let's do a couple tests here before we call it good. Long pulse. Long pulse. It's feeling. You can see it feeling around. Got another long pulse. There's okay. Gonna boot. Bada boom, baby. Okay. So that one took like six pulses. Not the worst. Not the best. For some reason the fan is still going. Are you gonna shut down or what? Let's do one more. Long pulse, come on. First try. Nope. Long pulse. So what I've noticed is when it boots, it's always going to be after a long pulse. It's going to be a solid green, and it's going to do some really quick stutters. Not like that. Here's a long one. There it goes. It's going to boot now. Yeah. It's kind of neat with these. You can actually tell when it's going to boot. Alright. That's how you do it, y'all. Leave a like in the comments. And let me know what you guys want to see me make a video on next. I think I'm going to be trying to tackle a Zephyr. I got a couple of those laying around. And some more obscure consoles that you don't really see much info on how to RGH them. There's some videos of them working, but not like a full blown walkthrough and shit. So yeah, ModzvilleUSA going back to the abyss. I'll see you later. Back, let's see what to do.